Are you in a position where you spend hours drawing a portrait but to only end up with hair that doesn't quite look right? I feel that this usually happens when you are focused on individual details of hair while not being able to convey them in a believable way. So in order to solve this issue, I have gathered a series of methods that have helped me with drawing a variety of hairstyles to help you go from something like this to this. Step 1. The first two things that I look out for when drawing hair is the hairline and the parting line. The hairline is a line that sits above the forehead where our hairs start to grow from. Depending on a variety of factors of human evolution, will determine where the hairline sits or how far back it recedes on our heads. As our hair continues to grow in length, it will naturally fall to the sides of the head, forming a parting line. Note that the parting line can be in different positions depending on the type of hairstyles. Step 2. I then proceed to identify the different groups of hair. As you can see from this example, I have grouped the hair into 3 segments to make it more manageable to draw. This method can help to break down more complex hairstyles, such as this one, where the parting line may be covered or unclear. I begin with the first group of hair near the point of where they grow or sprout from as the main segment. Using the same reference point, I proceed to draw the next segment of hair growing from under the initial layer, before finishing off with the last segment of hair that grows out on the sides, dividing the overall shape of the hair into layers that stack on top of one another. I draw a line down the middle to mark the position of the center of where I want the braids to be, while I proceed to draw them by using a modified crisscross pattern to represent the intersections of the braided hair. Note that on one side of the pattern, the line starts from the border to roughly where the center line is, while the line from the opposite side will cross the center line but will fall short of reaching the end of the border, as it will touch the next section of hair below it while you continue to repeat the pattern. As you proceed to fill in the rest of the pattern until you reach the end of the braid where the elastic band is, you can finish it off with the tail at the end. Once you have your rough drawing in place, you can now refine the drawing by rounding out the edges of the sketch to better describe the volumes of the braided hair. I draw dreaded hair by approaching them as cylindrical forms, or kinda like puff rolls. As dreaded hair may seem like a lot of details at first glance, the methods explained so far can be directly applied to break down the complexities of this hairstyle. I start by first locating the hairline and my parting line, grouping chunks of hair into separate segments, abstracting the forms of the hair into cylindrical shapes, refining your decisions, repeating the process till the end before applying values and shadows. Step 3. Leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in more drawing tutorials to come. The best thing about using these methods is how easy it can be applied and adapted to drawing all kinds of hairstyles. You can pick and choose how you want to divide the large chunks of hair into smaller groups to make it easier for you to tackle them in your drawing process. Another tip that I like to use when tackling complex hairstyles such as this one is to view the overall shape or silhouette as one big positive shape, while the smaller gaps within the hair are the negative shapes that will help in blocking in and designing out the rest of the hairstyle. You can also use line weights in your drawings to show more depth to prevent the hair from looking too flat. Line weights are darker or bolder lines used to indicate some weight, which can help to emphasize an overlap of forms. As seen in these examples, sometimes I will use thinner lines lighter in value to draw hair that is growing from a further position towards the back to imply some distance. If you're still having a hard time with drawing hair, you can practice by approaching the individual volumes of hair by simplifying them into forms with an S or C-shaped curve. If the hair you are drawing curls or coils, you can accentuate the difference by emphasizing the curls with more of a rounded edge, while the edges on coils would be more flat and angular. At the same time, you can think of hair as having the same characteristics of ribbons. Start by drawing the volumes out like individual pieces of ribbons, twisting and turning, before adding in the details or to imply some loose strands, as you always want to be working from the bigger forms to the smaller forms. Always remember that when drawing hair, you don't have to replicate the shapes to make it look exactly like the model or reference at hand. As hair is fluid and lively in nature, it is more important to capture the overall silhouette and to portray how the hair is attached to the head while taking some artistic liberty to interpret the movement of the rest of the hair, as this can help in preventing it from looking too stiff. If you have made it this far into the video, please let us know which types of hairstyles that is the most challenging for you to draw, and if you would be able to better tackle them with these methods that were shared in the comment section down below. And now that we have the hair drawing video done, what's left is to fill in the rest of the face. Happy drawing!